Hello everyone and welcome to Midpoint webinar. This is our first webinar and its topic is the ease and speed of configuring our CredoID access control software. We will try to prove that it takes no longer than 5 minutes to get the system up and running. We will not go into any advanced programming and we will be configuring only a basic setup. For those of you who are not yet familiar with our software, I will list the type of controllers that are supported. Midpoint Security works with 3 hardware providers, HAD, Mercury Security, and Suprema. We do support HAD Vertex controllers. We do also support HAD Edge IP readers and controllers. We support both lines, the EVO generation and the first generation as well. Mercury EP1501 and EP1502 main controllers are also supported, as well as the expansion boards. Finally, we have support for Suprema biometric IP readers and attendance terminals. The device that you see on the screen, BioEntry-W, is an integrated reader and controller. It's a fully functional IP reader. And this is the model that we will be using in our webinar today. You now see Devices tab. This is the tab that you would see after opening up a newly installed software. It would either be empty or you would see the controllers that were detected automatically. As you can see, the software automatically detected BioEntry-W reader. And it's been detected and now it appears out of sync. Out of sync status can be caused by a couple of reasons. The first one is that controller never belonged to the system, or software tried but was unable to update configuration in the controller. In our case, it's a new controller, so we will simply click on out of sync and we will force configuration loading into the controller. And after that, it will come online. And no further manual configuration transfers need to be done. The software will update controllers automatically. During configuration transfer, CredoID transfers special signature to controller memory. This signature is used when a controller and software reconnect after communication loss. For example, we have a network failure or a power failure, and when communication is restored, the software will check the signature in the controller and will know that the controller belongs to the system, that it was not substituted, and the signature will also tell the software what configuration updates need to be transferred. Let's say a few users were added to the system during the time of failure, and when the failure is fixed, these users will be sent to controller automatically. This feature is very valuable in larger projects because it ensures that only configuration changes are transferred and only to affected devices. Many of our competitors do not track changes at all, which requires loading of complete configuration to all controllers, which usually causes temporary slowdowns or outages because controllers reboot after receiving complete configuration. Thus now we have a live controller in the system, and the next step would be to configure a door. As you see, the configuration of doors is separated from controller configuration. It is a neat little feature. It means that you can configure the entire system without having hardware. You can add doors, you can add time schedules, access levels, users, and later, once controllers are installed, you can assign controllers to doors. Changes in controller configuration will never affect the rest of the system. So you can replace controller even to a different model or brand, and you will not need to reconfigure settings such as user access levels. The only setting that you will need to change, you will need to select a different controller in door configuration, stating that from this time the door is controlled by another controller. all the other parameters in the system remain the same. So let's name our door. We already selected that it will be controlled by this BioEntry-W reader. As it is a fingerprint reader, I will select a mode, card or fingerprint, so I can use both. I click OK. You see a blue line running. That means the configuration change was transferred to the controller. The next thing to do would be placing this door on a floor plan. It's not mandatory, but it is nice to see for the customer, and it's also good for testing as well. So let's go to monitoring. Let's create a new map. Say, and let's pick an icon. We can use either stock icons or load our own icons. We can change map background. We click OK, and we have a nice map. Now we say edit, and we place our door onto the map right here, and we save. After it has been saved, we can press on events, and we will see if we received any events from this controller. So far, we received auto detection event, controller online event, and now I will try my finger reader. Should have access denied event. Yes, it came here. And I will try a card and another access denied event. As you can see, it's showing that events are coming from the test door. It means the controller and the door are linked correctly. What we can do, we can click on the reader, and we have a control screen where we can see grant access button. The grant access button sends a command of temporary unlock to the reader. So after pressing this button, we should hear a relay click, and the lock should unlock. So by doing so, we can test if the control commands are going through, and if we get events and if the commands are executed successfully, it means the initial configuration is good. As you remember, the configuration of controller is separated from the rest of the configuration, which means that even if we replace the controller, we will not need to reconfigure our maps. It's particularly handy in large systems where you have hundreds of doors, and if you replace a controller and then you need to redraw a map, it would be very time-consuming. So far, so good. Now, the only thing missing is getting user's card or finger to open this door. To do this, we need to configure a time schedule, and we can do it really quickly. We just press New Schedule. We swipe mouse across days, and we just hold Control button. We select them all and adjust them together. And we can fine-tune it here. Perfect. Okay, as soon as we save, the configuration change is transferred. The next step is creating an access level. Access level is like a set of keys. It defines which doors can be opened by the user and during which hours. For low security doors, you can provide 24-hour access, and for higher security doors, you provide access during business hours only. So let's say let's add a door and select the time schedule that we created. Click OK. The schedule is transferred. Now we are ready to create a user. We go to Users tab, and as you can see, there are many useful user fields where you can store all types of information about user. The ones that I like in particular are phone and email. It's because the program allows you to send notifications to users directly from the software. Imagine someone left a car with the lights on in the parking lot. And you know that the plate starts with ADF. So you type it in search. It pulls up test user. We click on the user. We check that, yes, this user indeed has a Peugeot with the license plate ADF 123. So what we can do, we can click on little phone icon, and we can send a text message to the user directly and immediately. This is a very useful feature. It allows direct communication from security guards to users. Click OK, and the user will receive a warning on his phone. Okay. However, out of the abundance of the user fields, the only user fields that are really required are first name and last name. So let's add the user. Right here, and we can load a photo to make it look a little nicer. We can also capture photo from a USB camera if we have it connected, and we select an access level. And the configuration of the user is done. The user is now fully configured. As you can see, the access level is separated from cards or fingerprints or pins. It's a nice feature because if you lose the card, or if you need to change a pin, or if you need to get a temporary card, you don't need to reconfigure access levels. Whatever identifications you get, such as license plate, pin, finger, card, all of these identifications will be equally affected by your access level. Okay? So whether you use a card to go into the territory or a pin to open your office door, the same permissions, the same access level and time schedules will apply. And if you change your card, again, your permissions will remain the same. Okay, so let's now enroll a card and a finger. I'll just delete this. And I will scan card directly from the reader. The card can be entered, typed in manually. It can be scanned by a USB reader, or you can select from a list of unused cards in the system. But Suprema readers support scanning from the reader directly, so we'll do that. We'll press this button, get the card from scanner. We'll present the card, and the number has been transferred to the software. We press OK. And we will also add a finger. Okay. As soon as I clicked OK, this newly added user was transferred to the controller. And only to the controller that's included in the access level of the user. This means the memory of controllers and IP readers is used really efficiently. Okay. After we have done that, let's go back to maps and let's see if we get different events. Let's try Let's try a finger, and we get access granted, of course. And let's try a card. We should get access granted as well. Now the door unlocks. We see the photo of the user. Everything looks pretty. The next question that you will get immediately from the client is, I want to see reports. And in many cases, it is one of the main reasons why customers purchase access control. In addition to convenience and security, they really want to see if employees come to work on time and if they don't leave too early. Reports are very much valued by finance department that in many cases has decision power on how much money to allocate for purchasing access control. Thus, let's run a report and make the chief accountant happy. Go to Reports tab, Event Report. Let's run Event Report for today. Let's select which fields need to be included in the report. Generate. The report comes in Microsoft Excel, and it is easy to sort, search, or import if required. Nicely done. You may have noticed an automatic reports tab right here. It allows automatic delivery of reports. We select New Report. We select Report Template. And we select Frequency. Daily, for example. What it means is that the accountant does not even get training on CredoID. He doesn't need it installed on his computer. He simply receives the Excel file that he understands perfectly well. Customers really appreciate this when they don't have to learn too much about the new system and when they can continue using the tools that they are accustomed to, such as Microsoft Excel. Now, what is the most important thing after you do get everything working? It's a backup, of course. So you come to Settings tab, click one. Oh, let's discard the automatic report settings. And you come to Settings tab, and you press Backup Now. Okay? Just one click of a button, and system generates the backup. Then you should store this backup into two separate locations, one with a customer and one with you, in case customer misplaces his backup. We will not go into backup strategies during this session, but you need to know that the system will make periodic backup, and the interval is configured in this window right here, backup interval in days. And ideally, the target location of the backup should be an external hard drive or network disk. Okay? I would like to stress importance of creating a backup in access control systems. It's because if the backup is stored on the same computer and that one computer crashes and the hard drive information is lost, you would waste a lot of time configuring the system from scratch, setting up all the controllers, but more importantly, you would be re-entering user information, and you would need to collect the cards that you issued and reissue the cards again. This is really, really time-consuming. So do not forget to make a backup and always store it in a secure location. After the backup is made and you have a clean system in your hands, you will most likely receive a file with the names of users that you will need to import. The procedure is very simple. Just click on Import Users. The system gives you a warning saying that, are you sure what you are doing? It makes sure that you are the right person pressing this button, because import can overwrite the users that are already in the database. So the existing users may stop working, but we have a clean system now. So we'll just press proceed, say open sample file. We'll select users file, and we see the preview of the data, and we'll click on automatic data binding, which works most of the times. It links the columns of Excel or comma separated file to the fields of CredoID database. Okay, so the automatic binding was done correctly, and the only thing we need to do is click import. Okay, the import is running. It says import completed. We can say close, and now if we go to users tab, we see more users. We used to have only these users on top. Now we have additional users that were imported from the Excel file. As you can see, user photos can be imported, cards and pins, and even access level information. Everything can be imported. After this is done, you have users in the system. You assign cards to the imported users, you make sure they work, and you take yet another backup. Okay, so now you have another backup that includes a configuration and also the users. You are done now, and you can hand over the system to your client. But there is one final thing that you should consider. Depending on your service contract and the knowledge level of the customer, you may not want to give him full permissions to CredoID. What if he's curious and changes some critical settings just to see what happens? Very likely the user will not confess that he broke the system while playing around. The best way to avoid this is to create an administrator with limited permissions. Okay. So let's come here and let's add a new user. Let's call him admin. Let's call him limited administrator. Okay. And we select user administrator. It means user with this type of permissions can only add or delete cards and view reports. If you want to check more details, you can see the permissions that this user has. You can use the built-in user types, or you can create your own. But we'll use user administrator, and we will create login. After doing so, you hand over the system to your client, and you say that to log in, he needs to use username customer and password 1234, and he can change this password whenever he desires, but he will not be able to change the important settings in the system, and he will also will not be able to give himself full administrative rights of the system. So this means that there are low chances that the client will break the system, and you will not have support calls. Now let's undo everything and try it for speed, because our goal was to see if the system can be configured in 5 minutes. So let's try to undo these things that we did. Let's start from monitoring. Let's go to maps. I will delete the map. Yes. I will go to access levels, delete the access level. I will also delete the schedule that I created. And let's delete the door. Let's go to the user that we created. Let's erase his card and his finger. Okay. I think I undid most of the things that were needed. So let's go back. Okay. Now we are in Devices tab. We have an automatically detected reader. By the way, we should change this name from Auto Discovery to, let's say, Biometry. This is only for this field is only for installers, but it's really useful to have a record of the location of where the device is installed. So if you see that the device with IP address is such and such is malfunctioning, you know where it has been installed, and you can go and fix it. Okay, so now we have the reader that was auto-detected, and we will try configure the system for speed. I will start a timer. Okay, the device was auto-detected. I go to Doors, create new door. Test door. I will select the device. I will change the mode to card or finger. Click OK. I go to monitoring. I create a map. Let's say one. I select it. Okay. The default background is fine for me. Click Edit. I place the door onto the map. I hit save. I go to events. Check if there are events coming from the reader. Yes, they are. Okay, grant access. I hear the relay click. Perfect. Now I will take a shortcut. I will go directly into users and say add a new user. And I will select the default access level everywhere. The default access level everywhere is already built in the system, and it includes all the doors at 24 hours. So in most actually of the installations, users get full access to all the doors, with the exception, of course, with higher security projects. So I just click OK. And where's my speed user? I add a finger and a card. Let's scan card. And, okay, and let's also add a finger. Okay, we save it. It's transferred. Now let's go to the monitoring. Let's see if it's working. Okay, access granted, speed user. Okay, and let's make a backup. Backup completed. Perfect. Let's go to the stopwatch. We configured the system in 3 minutes, in under 3 minutes. So 3 minutes per door. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And it's been a pleasure hosting this, the first Midpoint webinar. And we will do more of these. We will, in future webinars, we'll go through the installation. We'll go through every tab and every advanced function in very much detail. Once again, thank you for listening. Also, I would like to mention that those who participate in the webinar, they get special discount coupons that give 20% off on demo system. So you may want to join the next webinar and take advantage of the special offer. Thanks again, and goodbye.